Hey guys, Chris Dunn here, aka the Boogie Man. On this episode of Boogie Tech, fitting this badass GSR G-Force transmission, the baddest 4-speed H-pattern transmission on the planet, in the Boogie Man. We tore the 101A up with a handcuff here last Sunday. Don't know what's wrong. I think the shifter was loose, caused some problems. But we've had this transmission for months. Now we're going to upgrade it. So stay tuned. Hold on. Here we go. Okay guys, let's start pulling this bad boy out. Y'all noticed how this works. I've got a slide mechanism in here that I made last year for a quick release of the transmission for drag week, and it just works out good, man. I mean, I can get this transmission out in just a few minutes. I got to come up with a little better, faster way with the hose clamps, but hose clamping in works real good. Don't take but a minute to get them undone. Normally I have a nut driver with me. And then I've got a hoist system that goes in here. So what I do is come under here. I wish I could get it all done from up top, but I probably could if I'd leave one bolt loose and run 3, but I really don't want to do that. So what we're going to do here is we're trying to we're going to try to fit this GSR, which is a little bigger transmission. So we'll have to see what it's going to take to get it to fit. I have to pull 2 bolts while I'm down here. Makes it a little easier anyway. Let me go ahead and get this one. The rest of them I can get from the top, the 2 at the top. This one right here is always a pain in the ass, because you can't hardly get, that reach typically on it. There we go. I have studs in my bell housing. That was the smartest thing I ever done. I can't take credit for it. I seen it. Somebody else had it. This is our GSR, which is a badass transmission. It's the baddest 4-speed they say out there. It's what all the drift guys use. And the drift guys are probably some of the worst ones on transmissions, they say. So you pull this bolt right here. Sometimes that don't work. Okay, go to the other side. I'm going to turn the power on because I have this winch set up that you plug up right here, and the car runs off the car power and powers the winch. So to get the transmission out, just shake it. Slides back just like that right there. Come in with the winch. Hook it up. Pick it up. Turn it. Pull this a little bit more. All the way up. And on the ground we go.
Hey guys, we got the 101 out and we got the GSR right here. We got to compare a couple of things. I knew we might have a problem or two, I just wasn't sure, but we're going to cure it. Basically, if you notice right here, how this candlestick is, or bearing retainer, is actually bolted to the bolt surface. It's flat, and if you take one of these apart, it holds the input shaft actually in the transmission with a bearing. Well, the GSR don't have that. The GSR has a bearing built into the case, and it's already got a ball sticks out here about 400 something thousandths. And what they sell for it is one of these. Basically, this is their bearing holder or candlestick, but it's for 1 1/16 26 spline. Well, I can't run them little splines. I just tear them up. They don't really offer, they do offer a 1 3/8 10 spline, which is what we run, but they don't make them as much. So we elected to go with what they standardly use, which is an 1 1/4 29 spline. This is what NASCAR uses. So if you notice, it won't even go on, all right? So this is something they make because we actually have a forward hole in our bell housing that goes on here like this and makes this hole the right size. The problem with that is, you see this right here, there's nowhere to put our throwout bearing. Well, that's because I think they use a hydraulic system or something in the NASCARs and a lot of these drifting cars and all, and I still use a mechanical clutch because I think it's a little faster. So what we had to do is we had to machine this. Basically, that design with the bigger part for our bearing, this right here is the size we need for our input shaft, and basically it goes on like that, all right? So now we have the place for our throwout bearing. I've clearanced this, I believe it's going to do okay, and everything's going to be all right. So that's our first hurdle, which is took care of. Second hurdle is my slides. These transmission cases are 2 different cases. So I've got to retrofit the slide to this, but basically what I need to do first is bolt the transmission in, then I'll retrofit the slide to it so it's lined up on the slides. And I also got to put a lifting eye. Now, what I like about this transmission has a bunch of bolts on top. So putting a lifting eye on a problem is not really a problem because I can just pull some of the nuts off and make it bolt on, which would be awesome. And I'll find center point here in just a minute. So what we're going to do first though is I'm going to pull the bell housing and pull all of that out because I've got to change the clutch disc. I've got a 1 3/8 10 spline and I needed the hub to fit an 1 1/4 29 spline. So what I got to do is change the disc out right quick, and I got to change out the bearing in the back of the crankshaft. Basically, what we run is, this is the roller bearing that fits here and guides. Where some people have a brass bushing or bronze bushing, I run a bearing, okay? And how this works is, there's a bearing retainer that you can buy. McLeod sells them. I think this one come all the way back from my days with Jericho. This bearing presses in here, and then you tap this in the back of the crankshaft, and that basically supports that bearing, which is supporting the end of your input shaft. Well, that is a smaller Chevrolet, which is like 550 something thousandths or something along that lines, and this right here is way bigger, the Ford stuff is. So what I had to do, if I use the retainer, if I still use this retainer right here, okay, then you got to order this bearing right here, which it took me. It's hard to find this bearing, but I finally figured it out. Summit carries it, but it's for a Pontiac, and it's basically a 1.380 bearing by, I believe it's 592. That's what the shaft size are, like 590. So you just knock this bearing in to the retainer, put it back in there, and that should line it up. But I stumbled across something. This bearing right here, I stumbled across, is the right ID and the right OD is the retainer, which is kind of weird to me. And what this is a GM bearing to something. I mean, it even pulled up like Hummer. It was at Summit. But I took the number and called Napa, and Napa had it in stock. So we're actually going to try this for the first time ever. We're gonna tap this bearing in the back instead of putting a bearing in the retainer, tapping the retainer in, hoping it all fits good. We're gonna try this bearing. So stay tuned, ride along with me right quick. We're gonna pull this bell housing and start trying to get all this worked out because today is Friday afternoon and we're wanting to go test on Sunday. Stay tuned, here we roll. Well guys, taking this thing out, believe it or not, it's not bad, but it's not easy either. It takes a while. Got to undo the clutch linkage first. That's what I typically do. We also have to take out the engine slide to take the bell housing out, but we don't take the bell housing out that often, so, you know, what do? You know what I mean? It won't take too long, about 15-20 minutes. We'll speed all of this up. And it'll waste some time. Pretty much everything I have here is custom made by us. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is. I mean, we literally, we have made every single piece of this thing. Even the new throw-out bearing deal I come up with kind of holds the throw-out bearing so we can slide transmissions in and out. That's something I modified. It's crazy. I mean, I like building stuff. I mean, you can buy all this stuff, but I mean, really, what fun is it in buying it? Why buy it? I mean, I understand some people can't do it. I mean, and I get that. I'm not knocking on them people. That's their business. But it sure is nice when you watch something that you built do good. I mean, it makes you feel real good. Let's pull this right here. What's this? We got caught in the rain and drag week, and I'm telling you now, it rusted everything under this bad boy. Well, rusted all the bolt heads, let me spray that thing, rusted everything. Nothing we ought to do something about it though. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning on some bolt heads and painting some bolt heads, especially, you know, socket head cap screws or, you know, black oxide or whatever. It just rusts like crazy. The thing about buying me a different bell housing, these are just expensive. But what do you do? So let's just go ahead and take it out. That's one thing, it don't take but a minute to take this bad boy out. Everything is quick disconnect on purpose. I need to come up with a better, which if I bring my wrenches under here I can do this a whole lot faster. But let's get this bell housing out, clean the clutch off, mark the clutch up, clean it,
All got it out. Put the new disc in. Gotta put the bearing in. We could put the transmission in and run it without the slide for this race, which is probably what we could do without a problem. And for that, just basically put it in here and work on our cover a little bit. We're gonna have to work on something, but we got dig or die in less than a week. We're going to dig or die, which is Friday in Rockingham, no prep, backside race. I'm kind of hooked on that no prep stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not money driven as much as it's just driving. Man, you got to drive your car new. You can't be screwing around. And I mean, I don't know. A guy with a bunch of horsepower don't seem to do as good. So you know, it ain't like you just out here buying your way. You know, if you need horsepower, just buy more horsepower. That's one thing I can say about it. Don't seem to need it. That's what I like about it. And I'm not knocking on people's money. I mean, to some people I got money. But when I first started this thing, it was about driving. It was not about how much money somebody could go spend at engine builders and you know how much money they can spend testing. It was about, let's come out here, let's make these things crude, as crude can be, and let's see who can drive. Something crude, don't handle worth a damn, you know, the whole 9 yards. But it kind of went away from it a little bit. But, hey, that's progression. That's things evolving, as they would say. So you really can't say much about that. Because we all want to evolve. I mean, I want my engine to go faster. So, you know, we try different things. All right. Here comes the kicker. This doggone bell housing is so heavy. It ain't even funky. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and pull it. Yeah, I'm making a tool for that. We're gonna check this thing out. In fact, this clutch has been in here. It ain't got that many passes on it. It's got a bunch of no prep passes on it. Now it might have, I think we went to one SEG race last year, so it's been in there a while with it. It's been there a minute. We're gonna race some SEG stuff this year. I think the world of the new owners, they're good people, and they're trying to turn that thing around. It's always had some of the coolest racing. It just ain't, you know, you just can't keep expecting people to come, and they're trying to work on things to better it, to basically, you know, help out the racers. And that's what's needing to been happening for a long time. You know, you cannot not care about these racers, because one day you'll end up at the track and they won't be there, and that'll be a problem. All right. Like that. Yeah. Alright guys, we got the bell housing off. We're going to do a little work on this thing, and we're probably going to catch you next episode. Stay tuned for the second part of installing a badass GSR 4-speed H-pattern G-Force transmission. Baddest transmission on the planet. Thank you, Chris Dunn, aka the Boogie Man.